evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi coming to you live from just outside Chicago. We're streaming worldwide right now on YouTube, Rumble, and X. And while you're watching, grab your phone and text this stream to 3 friends. The algorithm will not stop direct sharing. Now, tonight marks week 17 of Donald Trump's return to the White House, and we've got a packed show. Cut straight to what matters. The FBI launching an investigation into Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud while Trump's agenda gains momentum. In South Africa, a crisis unfolds as the president confronts Ramaphosa directly over escalating farm attacks. The big, beautiful bill battle reaches its climax with American industry pledging billions in investment, and we'll examine how ICE enforcement finally hits back at sanctuary city obstruction. An Elon Musk Qatar Forum appearance sending shockwaves through the tech world. And there is a live shot right now of the White House, the beautiful home of our beloved president, where he is making change happen and getting this ship back on course. Now, what sets the Raw Feed apart is you, our engaged community. Your super chats and Rumble rants, they appear right here on screen between segments. We're not just talking at you. We're having a conversation with millions of patriots who are watching worldwide. And speaking of community, check out our Next News merch shop if you haven't yet. It's linked down below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. From our Patriot gear to limited edition designs, show the world where you get your news proudly. Now, we can only keep delivering these vital stories with your support. The links in the description let you join our channel membership with different levels of perks. You'll get special chat recognition, behind-the-scenes content, and access to our exclusive 24/7 Discord community. Now, here's what's coming up. Donald Trump confronts the South African president with undeniable evidence of violence against farmers. The big, beautiful bill could unlock trillions in American investment, but time's running out. And we'll show you how sanctuary cities are finally facing consequences and why Musk's latest move have Silicon Valley on edge. Remember, your donations help keep the show going, whether it's through channel membership or direct support. Every contribution helps us stay independent and focused on the stories that matter. Now let's dive in and welcome you to the show. Who's in the house? What's up? Jerry M27 just received a membership from Ruby Hoove. Karen Finley in the house. Mark H, let's freaking go. Only Grants in the house as well. Eric, sorry. Les Paul Jr. is here. Walter is here. Deep State of Israel is here. Overeducated SP. Douglas Barber. Mike Brady wants to talk about Diddy. Ruby Hoove. Miss Pothead Kenny. Karen Finley. Resto Guy. Sarah is here. Cheryl M. Madassa. Only Grants. Tim McClary. Wayne Karen. Duty to Rebel. Sleep. Stephen Alsop. Patricia Duff. And remember, when you sound off in the chat room or in the comments, let us know where you're watching from and what kind of device. It lets everybody know just how big the family is, and especially if you're watching overseas. I love hearing from our international audience. You guys know this is the last bastion of freedom, and you tune in to find out where we are on the scale of freedom to tyranny. Who else is here? Pothead Kenny says, Gary's cooking. Blessed Mess is here. Heidi Lee, 1776 in Ohio, checking in. Tootsie Roll Diddy. J. Mevin Rude. Melinda Roth says, this is a waste of time. Well, we don't want to waste your time. Shelly W. is here. Archangel Michael is here. Lauren Waterman. Fendi Fabulous, first time joining Android. Tupelo, Mississippi. What's up, Tupelo? We've got Coral W. Beans and Frank. How do you get the Beans and Brother Frank? We got Douglas Compton, Old Soul Laughing. We got Grace in the house. Therese. Michael Fiacco. Italian for Mike. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get the joke. Timothy's here. John Bryant, Kimmy USA. Mindy in Texas. What's up, Mindy? And Therese in Kentucky. Judy Maddock, so proud of her president. Yes. So are we. Those were some fireworks. Gen X is drowning in the rain in Ohio. Some fireworks today. Michael is in St. Charles, Illinois. I know exactly where that is. Michelle Fiacco. Maybe I'll run into you down on 3rd Street in Geneva one of these days, right? Okay, we've got Save My Republic, Diana Lindbergh, Beans and Frank. I love it. Beans and Frank. How'd you get the beans about the Frank? Okay, let's jump in. We got a lot of news to jump to, but Letitia James is under FBI heat. Brian, bring up that lower third real quick because I think I may have misspelled something. If you could just, yeah, Letitia is spelled wrong. If you could just fix that, that would be great. Leticia. That's my bad. My bad. Yeah, I got to work on my spelling. Okay, what else is going on here? Oh, there we go, Brian. Thank you. Yes. All right, let's go. You know something's shifted in Washington when the hunters become the hunted. While President Trump's agenda steamrolls forward and his poll numbers soar, there's an extraordinary story unfolding in New York that few saw coming. Remember all those headlines about investigations and prosecutors? Well, sometimes the universe has a way of evening the score, and what we're about to reveal isn't about just one official's potentially fatal mistake. It's about a complete reversal of fortune that has Washington insiders stunned. And when you see what's happening right now between New York and D.C., you'll understand why this could be the turning point that we have all been waiting for. Now, here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That means a $100,000 savings account today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. And you see it every time you fill up your tank, you buy groceries or pay the bills, prices up, dollars down. But there's a simple way to protect the value of your savings with something that's real and something that's proven. I'm talking about gold, an asset that holds its value over time. That's why I trust Noble Gold Investments. They make it simple to protect your savings with physical gold or silver. No high-pressure sales, no call centers in India, just honest guidance, one-on-one support, and transparent pricing. And right now, when you open a qualified account, Noble Gold will send you a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar. You see it on your screen there. They'll send it to you as a thank you. So head to nextnewsgold.com to learn more. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't just protect your wealth, preserve its power. That number on the screen, 877-646-5347. When you call and you ask for Colin, tell him that Gary Franchi said hello, would you? Or just, maybe just prank call him. I think that would be funny. Anyway, let's go. No one is above the law. Remember that? Yeah, well, it looks like Letitia James is going to be learning exactly what that means. Okay, so what is it? Yeah, she's actually on her, I don't know what you call it. She's in meltdown mode right now because of what's about to happen. We're going to break it all down. We have the latest news. We just posted the thread to X. It's already going viral, but she's begging.
As you know, we filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his family. We secured a $454 million judgment against him, which is on appeal. The case is on appeal. I have no idea when that case will be decided. This investigation into me is nothing more than retribution. It's baseless. It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia and
oh, what did she say? Mistake. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Oh, sounds like an admission of guilt to me.
It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia, but prior to that, I have indicated to the mortgage broker that, in fact, in bold cap letters, that I am not a resident of Virginia and never will be. And in the mortgage application, I indicated that I would not live in Virginia and I was not a resident. They just took the power of attorney and they're using that as a basis for enforcement for their investigation, when in reality, the power of attorney was never used to determine my eligibility for a mortgage for my niece for a home in the state of Virginia. My niece who has children, and because I wanted her to have a home.
Yeah, maybe you should plead the fifth. right? Maybe you should just shut your mouth instead of making these public statements, because you're only digging your grave ever deeper. Oh, yes, and we've got it all. Roger Stone saying New York's corrupt Attorney General Letitia James is pooping a brick. Public documents proving federal tax evasion, mortgage fraud, campaign finance fraud, and execution of documents which prove she is no longer legally eligible to be Attorney General of New York have been identified. Oh, yeah. You ready for this? The federal fraud storm now engulfing Letitia James. Trump-era watchdog tipping off the DOJ that New York's AG lied on 2 mortgages. Oh, this is a deep dive, folks. Referral landed in April 2025. Probe confirmed early May. FBI, prosecutors, and a Virginia grand jury now digging fast. We have the latest, so buckle up, folks. Here it is. The referral igniting the fraud probe. April 2025. FA Director William Plute sends AG Pambondi a blistering letter. James faked the Norfolk occupancy and shaved a Brooklyn brownstones unit to snag cheaper federally backed loans. DOJ could not ignore the red flags. The feds opened the case files. This is the timeline. By early May 2025, DOJ Criminal Division greenlit a full investigation. U.S. Attorney John Sarcone in Albany takes the lead. FBI's federal field agents open its own file, signaling firm intent. Venue shift keeps politics at arm's length. The grand jury subpoenas fly. Eastern District of Virginia impanels jurors on the rocket docket. First orders sweep James 2023 Norfolk mortgage file. Bank emails and niece Shamisa's testimony on the record. Occupancy claim is now evidence, not rhetoric. Norfolk house occupancy in question. Loan file labels the cottage as James' principal residence, unlocking lucrative owner rates. Yet 2 weeks earlier, she wrote in caps, it was her niece's home. Agents call that conflict intent to deceive. Oh, yes. Brooklyn brownstone unit mismatch. Records show 5 apartments since 2001, but James refis list only 4, keeping loans under conforming caps. 2 decades of permits flow to a deep federal forensic exam, hunting a pattern of deception. Unusual venue choice. Albany. The case landing with the U.S. Attorney Sarcone in NDNY, far from James' New York City base. Observers say the DOJ parked it there to avoid conflicts and let an outside jury weigh evidence without city noise and heavy media glare. FBI corruption squad now engaged. Albany agents now interview loan officers, compliance staff, and inspectors. Subpoenas demand every email, every text, and e-signature tied to James' applications. No charges yet, but the temperature is rising fast. The evidence timeline has now been established. April 18th referral, April 24th rebuttal, late April grand jury, May 8th media confirmation. A 4-week sprint shows the DOJ sees felonies worth action by federal standards warp speed for a public corruption case. Legal exposure enormous. Bank, wire, and mail fraud plus false statements each carry 30-year max and a $1 million fine each. 2 properties mean multiple counts. Conspiracy mirrors the same terms. Law license, assets, and freedom are all on the line, all at once. James mounting her public defense, as you saw in the clip that we played at the beginning. She blasts the bullies in D.C. and says that Trump weaponizes justice. April 19th, nationwide cable hits print her fearless, even as feds label her a suspect. She keeps suing Trump policies while under the microscope. Abby Lowell enters the ring. Power lawyer for Hunter Biden and Jared Kushner now defending James. His fee comes from donors plus a $10 million taxpayer fund quietly tucked into the budget. GOP fumes that working families are now bankrolling an elite defense. Taxpayer legal fund backlash. Albany Republicans brand the $10 million pot of slush fund. They promise hearings next week to claw back the cash. Democrats shrug, calling it insurance against Trump vendetta. Taxpayers see another insider perk. Defense calls a calls paper mistake. Lowell's 6-page letter says that the Norfolk POA line was clerical. Brooklyn's unit count allegedly fixed. And no lender ever lost a dime. Doesn't that sound familiar? Remember when Trump was saying, no lender lost anything, right? Well, now it looks like that's a very convenient defense for her. No lender ever lost a dime. He argues lack of intent and cherry-picked paperwork fuel a false narrative. Let's keep going. Investigators are now questioning the intent. Agents say that patterns matter. Unit miscounts across refis and an occupancy claim defying New York residency rules. Clerical errors happen once. Repeating them for better rates looks very calculated, not sloppy. Residency attack emerges. Trump allies argue the Norfolk residency line forfeits the New York domicile, making James ineligible when she sued him in 2024. If courts bite, her $455 million judgment could implode and her AG term face utter retroactive challenge. Media narrative shifting slowly. Local papers, press, national outlets mumble partisan tiff. But subpoenas are facts, and leaks show boxes of loan files stacked beside seated grand jury exhibits. Donors are getting rattled. FBI digging decades back. Agents even pulled a 1983 Queens mortgage where James and her father signed as husband and wife. Statute limits bar charges, but it shows casual form fudging stretching 40 years. Evidence that resonates with jurors. Political stakes skyrocketing fast. Pollsters say her favorables dropped 10 points in 2 weeks. Undecideds rise. Democrat leaders stand by her, yet donors quietly search for a plan B if indictment hits. Confidence already clearly wobbling. Albany hearing showdown nears. GOP legislators set late May subpoenas to grill budget staff on the defense fund. Statewide taxpayers ask why pothole cash was moved to a billionaire lawyer's invoice. Small-town voters smell the swamp. DOJ, quiet, but they are focused. Spokespeople mutter no comment, yet insiders leak. Public integrity lawyers review evidence nightly. Decisions indict an EDVA for speed, or the Eastern District of Virginia for speed, or the Northern District of New York for optics. AG Pam Bondi now vowing nobody sits above identical federal rules. The clock is now ticking towards indictment. The Eastern District of Virginia's rocket docket moves in months. If agents wrap by the summer, James could face charges before Thanksgiving of 2025, trading campaign rallies for courtroom metal detectors and public mugshot flashes. So what would the conviction mean? One guilty count could yank her license, erase loan perks, and send her to potentially prison for decades. Multiple counts stack fast. Think former Baltimore Mayor D.A. Mosby, but with higher office and louder hypocrisy. License revoked, loan benefits erased, and decades in prison. The broader precedent has now been set. The first time a state AG who sued a president faces a federal mortgage probe from that president's DOJ. Critics shout payback, supporters shout equality. Either way, today's power play can boomerang back hard on future crusaders. Share this thread. Seek justice. If these receipts fired you up, repost and tag friends. We'll track every subpoena until verdict day. Smash follow for unfiltered updates. Our White House hard pass creds keep us in the room. Stay tuned, stay informed, and demand fairness always. Amplify the truth, bury the spin, hit the link, smash repost, and rocket her mortgage scandal to the top of every feed. Each share cranks up the pressure on Albany and the DOJ. Let's make Letitia's nightmare trend worldwide. Boom! That's it, baby. It is only the beginning of payback. Now we're finding out the New York Attorney General Letitia James used her official title to fundraise for Adrienne Adams while under federal investigation and Virginia grand jury scrutiny. Her text message, signed as New York Attorney General, directs donors to act blue with no proper disclaimers. Roger Stone, we covered that. New York Attorney General Letitia James calls the Fed's fraud probe of her retribution. Well, payback's a bitch, honey. Yes, no one is above the law, right? She confessed. Letitia James confirms a mistake that led to the FBI investigation. You saw her say it at the beginning of the clip. America first means safety first, and we are on top of it all. So this is the big story right now. We are tracking it all. Letitia James, these are the last days in the investigation. As I said, Thanksgiving. Let's go back to that post because I want to drive it home. People were asking in the comments on this, when is it going to happen? When are we going to see justice? Well, the timeline, it says that we disclosed here is... yes, Thanksgiving. Where did I put that? The clock is ticking towards indictment. The Eastern District of Virginia rocket docket moves in months. If agents wrap by summer, and they're moving fast, she could face charges before Thanksgiving of 2025. Wouldn't that be something to be thankful for? Justice finally getting served on this woman. She would be trading campaign rallies for courtroom metal detectors and public mugshot flashes. I pray that we see this day. So, what we've revealed shows a dramatic power shift in American politics as President Trump's agenda gains unprecedented momentum with new trade deals on the horizon, gas prices plummeting, policy victories piling up. His former legal adversaries face their own day of reckoning. And the implications stretch far beyond one attorney general's troubles. It raises serious questions about who really held the moral high ground all along. As Trump's vindication unfolds and his policies reshape America, how many more of his critics will face similar scrutiny? Is this just the beginning of a larger reckoning? Share your thoughts and dreams in the comments below. And remember to visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and check out our latest merch. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Payback is a bitch. And what happened today in the Oval Office was absolutely epic. Holy cow, man. I got a message from Matt Bailey. He is one of our contacts on the ground in Washington. You saw we sent him to the Vatican to get exclusive coverage of the Pope's coronation. He texted me. He's like, dude, he's like, you need to turn it on right now. He's like, Trump is on fire. Oh, yeah. Now, people are like criticize in the comments of this thread we posted about it. People are like, oh, you used the word ambush. Oh my goodness. Only the left uses that word. Well, apparently they do. But I didn't use it in a negative sense. I used it in a sense that Trump is kicking ass. He is a wise man. He knew exactly what he was doing. Total ambush in the Oval Office today. Let's go into that thread that we have just published. That's going viral too on X. Holy cow, 203,000 views on this thread alone so far. Remember, follow us on X because we post a lot of the work that we do here on the Raw feed is the work we do throughout the day. And throughout the day, we're posting on X, and then on the Raw feed, we bring it home. We talk about it. You and I communicate about it. Like here, we got Lori. She drops $2. No comment, just $2. Thank you for that. What else are you guys saying right now in the chat room? Let's see real quick before we jump to this topic. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Wyatt. Hi, Sabrina. You guys are so nice. I understand you, Gary, says Sherry. Hi, good folks. Boom, boom. What? Hi, Vicky. Trump is boss. Not a parking ticket, but a boot. He put it right in the face. The statute of limitations will run out and nothing will happen. Have faith, Beans and Frank. Have faith. All right. I want to keep going. What's up, Wyatt Earp? What's up? I'm your Huckleberry. All right. When you see what's happening right now in South Africa, you understand why President Trump just cleared his schedule for an unprecedented Oval Office confrontation. Tonight, we're going to take you inside that dramatic moment when Trump played the stadium footage for President Ramaphosa himself. What's unfolding on farms across that nation has world leaders holding their breath, yet the mainstream press remains mysteriously silent. And if they say anything, well, they become the definition of fake news. The raw reaction from both presidents tells you everything. It's not just about farming, it's about survival and America's role in preventing what could become this generation's darkest chapter. What happens next will shock you. Now, in the harsh African sun, farmers face brutal conditions that age their skin rapidly. And speaking of aging, have you noticed how stress and environmental factors can add years to your appearance? Well, a groundbreaking 2024 study revealed that collagen supplementation can dramatically reduce visible aging. Our premium multi-collagen formula includes all 5 key types needed for optimal results. And unlike inferior products, ours is sourced from 4 premium sources for maximum effectiveness. Visit healthwithgary.com and get 51% off during the special promotion. Don't let time take its toll on your appearance. Now, I got a message this morning from one of our sources on the ground at the White House, and he said, you need to see what is happening in the Oval Office right now. Boom. I turned it on, and I was like, holy cow, President Trump is on fire. I immediately contacted our producer, Todd, and I said, Todd, we need to get on top of this immediately. We organized all the information. We pulled the clips. We got all the information into a nice, concise thread for you to share on X and for you to learn now. As of this moment, that thread has over 203,000 hits. Our X account is on fire, so you need to make sure you follow us there. Now, I did get some heat for the headline I chose of this thread, that Trump ambushes South African president in the Oval. I thought it was a perfect word because, well, I'll explain in a little bit. But yeah, people were commenting about the use of the word. I disagreed. Anyway, cameras were rolling raw as President Trump confronted the South African president on the farm killings and the land grabs, brandishing stats while reporters gasp. The tension electric, the stakes life or death. We have all of the details. The death toll mounts. Trump slams flashcard of fresh funerals across the resolute desk, reciting death, death, horrible death, while reporters squirm. White farmers flee in masses, bodies pile high, and the press yawns. Watch the raw nightmare unfold.
Death.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. 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 Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that
To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all... I mean, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
Well, I can do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a report from President Ramaphosa? Your reaction to those videos,
President Trump.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now, we're going to talk about it, but this is a tremendous, look, this is a story recent. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are... And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well, let me clarify that.
Yeah.
What would you like?
President Trump dropping receipts right in front of him. Farmers under siege. A South African farmer recounts home invasions, arson, and water pumps stolen by midnight raiders. Elderly parents beaten. Families now hide behind electrified fences just to survive. Without farmers, no food. So why the global deadly silence?
Part-time farm. I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane.
Yeah.
And there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it. But it's a constant battle with farms trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end, without farmers, there's no food on the plate. So we need the farmers to produce the food.
Farming, right? He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even want to do what you're doing, right? They love farming. They don't want to leave. But it's a struggle.
Yeah, and food and fresh water is the most important thing in life. Without those two things, you can't survive.
How is the water there?
The water is great. Obviously, all the water comes out of the borehole, out of ground for us down there. But yeah, it is a battle to get the water out sometimes when all the equipment gets stolen all the time that you're trying to get the water out.
So does your family and your brother, do they feel safe on the farm?
They live behind electric fences, try and be at night safe. But it is constant whenever you leave that something could happen. And
There's nowhere to live.
both of them has been attacked in their houses. My mom's been attacked in her house when she was 80. So it is difficult. I grew up in
bringing that man into the Oval Office to confront the South African president was a bold move. There's no place for that man to run. He must listen. Oh, but it gets even better. The kill chant echoes. Viral stadium footage shows 100,000 fists pumping as a firebrand orders, kill the white farmer. Ramaphosa shrugs. Trump erupts, brandishing photo after photo of families while demanding arrests. How loud must the mob get before action?
But why?
So you denounced that type of language in the video that you saw? Oh yes, we've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly. And you take a look at Australia. They're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. It's valueless. And they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation.
This is probably, second only to the Zelensky confrontation as far as Bold moves by the president. Land grab fury. Trump hammers expropriation laws allowing land seizure for no payment, grilling the South African officials on farmers executed after their titles vanished. Thousands are now begging for U.S. asylum. D.C. can't look away any longer. Will justice finally roar loudly?
We have hundreds of people, thousands of people trying to come into our country because they feel they're going to be killed and their land is going to be confiscated. And you do have laws that were passed that gives you the right to confiscate land for no payment. You can take away land for no payment.
I want to clarify that because we have a constitution. Our constitution guarantees and protects the sanctity of tenure of land ownership. And that constitution protects all South Africans with regard to land ownership. However, we do say, because we've got to deal with the past, the government, and as your government also has the right to expropriate land for public use.
And you're doing that.
And we've never really gotten underway with that. And we are going to be doing so.
You're taking people's land away
we have not.
From them. And those people in many cases are being executed. They're being executed. And they happen to be white, and most of them happen to be farmers. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough situation. I don't know how you explain that. How do you explain that? They're taking people's land away, and in many cases those people are being executed, and in many cases it's not the government that's doing it, it's people that kill them and then take their land, and nothing happens to them. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country. They're also going to Australia in a smaller number. But we have thousands of people that want to come into our country, and they're white farmers, and they feel that they're going to die in South Africa, and it's a bad thing. Yeah, we have hundreds.
The South African president, we have a constitution. Yeah, but it looks like you're looking the other way. Let's keep going. Deeper. Refugee double standard. NBC grilling Trump on rescuing Afrikaner refugees while 21 million illegal border crossers roam free. POTUS firing back. We take criminals, lunatics, gangsters, don't lecture me, pointing his hands like a thunderclap. Hypocrisy fully exposed.
Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case. We're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court. I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's a kind of a different meeting. Normally, we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah.
Media smokescreen shatters. NBC tries to derail the farm murder briefing with a gotcha about the donated Qatari jet. Trump scorching the reporter and drags execs into the fire. Listen, this was absolutely epic. Now, this was right after President Trump ambushed the South African president with a 4-minute and 33-second video showing the violent rhetoric that is being spread across his country. And this is the first question out the gate by NBC.
President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. This NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Oh, the boss is back in town. Quiet. No more questions from you. You're a terrible reporter. Moving on. Allies seeking help. Ramaphosa cold calls Trump and is ushered into the Oval. POTUS cites decades-long friendship with South Africans. Famous and fearless pudging U.S. leverage to stop the bloodshed. Diplomacy ignites when bonds run deeper than global headlines.
So we'll be discussing many things and some of the things you've been reading about in the papers and the media. And I would say that, look, the president is a truly respected man in many, many circles. And in some circles, he's considered a little controversial. But we're going to be discussing some of the things that are taking place in South Africa and see if we can help. And we want to help. And we've had a long relationship with South Africa. I have, because indirectly I have so many friends that live there. I have a lot of friends. I mean, these are famous guys, but I have a lot of friends that live there that are tremendous people. And we'll be discussing that. We'll have a nice conversation. And I really appreciate that you guys came along. It really helps us in our thought process. But it is a great honor to have you, and I appreciate you called. He called. I don't know where he got my number, but I picked up. He said, I want to come over and see you. That was my honor, and thank you very much for being here.
It turns out it was a mistake. Stadium warning bell. Trump cites 100,000-strong rally calling land grabs a mass movement that could end South Africa if unaddressed. Vows to push for resolution backed by sports legend like Ernie Els, pleading for action. Will the leaders listen?
It's got to
should rise to South African broadcasting if this Afrikaner resettlement issue is resolved. You're going to go into a room after this, you guys are going to talk. If it is resolved, what is the potential for the future-looking relationships between the United States?
It's got to be resolved. It should be resolved. It's a little bit bad when you see a stadium with 100,000 people in it, because that means it's more than just a little movement. It's a pretty big movement in South Africa, so it has to be resolved. It'll be the end of the country if it's not.
But is there potential for the relationship moving forward?
I hope so. That's why I'm here. I mean, I'm not here for my health. I'm here to... No, I'd like to see. I have friends. I can tell you, Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, they feel so strongly they wanted to be here on behalf of South Africa, not on behalf of me.
Should rise to South African broadcast.
Genocide question looms. When asked if mass killings meet the G-word threshold, Trump says, I haven't decided, but saving lives is cheap compared to consequences, citing Rwanda lessons and pushes Moscow, Kyiv, Pretoria, anyone to act.
Well, genocide is a very strong word. I'm wondering if you've made up your mind as to whether you believe genocide is occurring in South Africa, or you still doubt, and if you have made up your mind, why invite President Ramaphosa here today?
Well, I haven't made up my mind. I hate to see it from the standpoint of South Africa, but also, I'm trying to save lives. I'm working with Russia and Ukraine. I don't have to do that. It's not our war. It was started by other people. It was helped along by our past administration. It would have never happened if I were president, but I'm trying to save lives. And no matter where. Rwanda, I have nothing to do with Rwanda and the Congo, but I felt I had a very talented person in this administration, and I sent him there, and he did an unbelievable job, I think. I mean, we're going to find out, but he's done the hardest part of the job. It should happen. If I can save lives, I want to save the lives. If it's in Africa, that's great. If it's in Europe, if it's wherever it may be. And it's a very small investment to do, believe me, compared to what the consequences are.
Gotta save lives. Fake news silence. Trump grilling Ramaphosa on land grabs and slain farmers, citing grave sites, while NBC's jerk reporter dodges. He torches ABC, NBC, CBS for burying the horrific massacre, demanding prosecutions, and calls fake news an accomplice.
Parties to clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilizing...
The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible, but if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it, but the fake news...
He literally called him a jerk to his face in the Oval Office. Damn.
Here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible, but if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it, but the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it, but they won't.
You know, can you imagine being that reporter? You're standing there in the Oval Office, in the seat of power, and the President of the United States calls you a jerk in a bilateral press meeting. Oh, man. If you got value from this thread, tap follow and stick with the Next News Network. We're White House credentialed and deliver unfiltered reports others ignore. There's yours truly in the press room. Now, ambush. Yes, people were not pleased. Well, it was a strategic word choice. Some of the comments took issue with the word ambush, so here is why we used a shorthand for a decisive tactical move that forces accountability. Trump's surprise confrontation shoved farm murder facts into the spotlight. Hard tactics, vital truth. Bait them with gleaming spoils. Let their hunger blind their guard. Then strike from hidden ground, and victory is seized before greed can draw its blade. Brought there on the pretenses of economic discussions, trade negotiations, and President Trump throws the truth right in his face, ambushed with truth. So, the truth exposed. Okay, so here's the 4-minute, 35-second montage of hate chants against white farmers that played in the Oval Office. Fox cameras catching Trump and the SA president watching it. Hear the words that fuel the violence and ask who still denies. So, on the left side, you can see that's the video. On the right side, they're watching it and you can see the reaction. So I'm going to start with this.
People are, there's not.
I mean, President Trump's like, dim the lights and roll the tape.
You can do, there's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Honorable
do whatever you want to do.
Speaker,
you can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Honorable. Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa. To kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
Ulipul, sizogoshaya, uzochulwa. Ulipul, sizogoshaya, uzobaleka tu. Sizobatula, azobaleka tu. Sizobatula. We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America.
President Trump made him sit through that entire 4-minute, 35-second video. Total ambush. Genius. Now let's watch a moment of when it went down.
That there's no white genocide in South Africa.
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that.
Did you see that smile on Trump's face? He knew exactly what was coming. Watch it again. He knows exactly.
That there's no white genocide in South Africa.
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, we have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would, and turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are.
Okay, so you see the look on his face?
President from my land.
Just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from...
He's like, what? What? Are you really going to show this to me right here in front of the world? Oh, absolute genius. Oh.
What? We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. Can we do
1,000 of them. They're all white. Very bad. Burial sites. Over 1,000. Of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road you have crosses.
They told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
Okay. I mean, it's in South Africa.
We need to find out.
He can't even watch.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Okay, so the video is now over, and enter the NBC reporter who Trump called a jerk.
Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. President Trump, Alex Austin from ENCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tim.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death.
We saw that before. Okay, so if you want to see the whole thing, we've got to post it on X. The uncut showdown in the Oval Office. 44 minutes of total public humiliation. And I spotted this from John Basham. I thought it was a great take. Trump was slamming the media in that room, and then ABC News decided to write up a post about it. John Basham torches ABC for dubbing Trump's white genocide warning unfounded, ignoring murdered farmers and acting like race killings are rumors. He says ABC has morphed from journalism into a 100% Democrat activist machine. Straight facts. This is the post, and you can see what ABC wrote. President Trump and South African President Ramaphosa engage in a back and forth at the White House over Trump's unfounded claims. That's ABC News. Yeah. And here's some of the back and forth. People criticizing me for the use of the word ambush. And I jumped in. What a dick headline. Oh, how do you figure? Let's see what this guy says. By being one to know what it's like. How does telling the truth equate to an ambush? Because he didn't know it was coming. That's a pretty unique headline. Oh, and look at this. This is funny, actually. Brian brought this to my attention earlier today. The talking points went out to the fake news. Trump ambushed the president of South Africa. Well, I didn't coordinate with the fake news on this one. But you can see all the headlines use the word ambush also. Oops. But apparently this thread is everyone's favorite. Where's it at right now? Let's see what the numbers are. 210,000 views, 722 reposts, 34 quotes, 3,993 likes, and 541 bookmarks. So the situation we've just revealed in South Africa demands immediate attention. When Trump showed Ramaphosa that stadium footage, it wasn't just about shocking images. It was about forcing the world to confront an uncomfortable truth. And to the YouTube censors, we presented this information with context so the world would have the full picture. So do me a favor. Don't censor this. Now, as the crisis unfolds, we do have to ask ourselves, how many more families must flee before the world actually acknowledges what's happening? Why has the mainstream media ignored these horrific attacks? Why do they spin it? And most importantly, what role should America play in preventing further bloodshed? This isn't just about one country's internal struggles. It's about standing up for human rights Do you hear that, YouTube? Standing up for human rights when others will not. So share your thoughts below on how America should respond to this escalating crisis. And if you want to support our work at the Next News Network, we do have a merch shop, a shameless plug, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Grab a hat or a shirt and show the world that you support the real news. All right, looks like we got some super chats come through. And I think I saw, did I see Mr. Reagan dropped by? I saw him. Okay, so we got Ronald. Get a new hat. Nothing fancy. Thank you for the $5, Ronald. We'll put that in the Alex Jones was right jar. How's that sound? I got to get some like fake money or something put in there. Okay, we got Craig. Let's see what Craig says here. Dropping $5. Make that like button turn black. Hit it. 1,058 watching, 697 likes. You too, Mr. Reagan, and welcome. And how many people are watching right now? We've got 910 on YouTube, 2,585 on X. What does that tell you? So make sure you tap the link and share it on text message. We say this all the time, and it really makes a difference. You guys hold the power in the palm of your hand, literally. And if you haven't gone to X and reposted this live feed, what are you waiting for? Make sure you do so. Vicky dropping $4.99. Thank you very much, Vicky, for that. And we also have this from Craig. He just gifted a membership to Walter. Welcome to the family, Walter. Parmis Dax dropping $2. President Trump has big, beautiful, golden balls. What do you say to that, Mr. President?
We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
Thank you for that, sir. We appreciate that. Irving dropping $45.47. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that, Irving. Absolutely awesome. Every time you do it, you must have some deep pockets over there. Thank you for sharing. Sincerely. Okay, let's get to our third topic of the evening. We got an update on the big and beautiful bill. Yes, we do. Are you ready for that? What is this from Kevin
There's a lot
Hassett?
of onshoring of activity,
okay,
but also...
Todd, do you want me to play that first, and then we'll get into the clip, into the thread? I guess maybe you want me to do that? Okay. Just not if you can hear me. All right. What happens when American... What? What? Oh, you want me to do the thread first? Okay. Sorry, there's a delay. Yes, I hear you. Thank you, sir. Okay. When you open up your mic, I hear myself again, and it becomes... Can you... Oh, my God, are you serious? Oh, my... What are you doing? If you repair or you replace your AC unit, what are you doing? Okay, let's get started on this. What happens when American industry finally gets unleashed? Well, tonight we'll show you why corporate titans are suddenly pledging billions of dollars in new investment and why union leaders are frantically calling Congress. Inside sources tell us that the big, beautiful bill contains something so powerful it has China's leadership in full-blown panic. And when you see the numbers we're about to reveal, you'll understand why President Trump just issued his boldest ultimatum yet to Congress. This is not just about tax cuts. It's about reshaping America's economic future. And what one major CEO just promised could change everything for working Americans across 16 states. And speaking of economic pressure, let's talk about blood pressure. With the big, beautiful bill's impact on American industry, many are feeling the stress of rapid change. That's why managing your blood pressure naturally is crucial. Now, if you go to boostwithgary.com, And you'll find this product. It contains powerful ingredients like white mulberry leaf and cinnamon bark powder, proven to help maintain healthy blood pressure levels naturally. Don't let stress impact your health when there is a natural solution. Visit boostwithgary.com today and take advantage of their 40% off special, plus get fast shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just tap more below this video and take advantage. Okay, we have a very detailed thread that we composed today, posted it on X just a few hours ago. Now, I know Todd said get to the thread first, but I want to watch this. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett talking about the big, beautiful bill on News Nation.
And the bottom line is that this is a bill that's ready for the next version of America, which is a lot of onshoring of activity, but also big, big tax cuts for the people who need them most. So we've got tax reductions for people who earn overtime. And I met with the president of the UAW in my office a week ago to talk about the hundreds of dollars a week for many people that's going to save. We're cutting taxes on Social Security people. I think one of the biggest tragedies of economic policy in America is that some people retire for Social Security, they don't have enough money, they want to go back to work, and then all that work that they get is taxed. If they make an extra $1, they lose 50 cents, and they get taxed on the rest of it. And there's no tax on tips. And so all of this stuff is helping middle-class Americans get back to work, and that's really great for the economy. But also the big, beautiful bill has a lot of beautiful stuff in it that nobody's talking about, which is another one of your themes. And so one of the things I like the best is that for every baby, it's in the bill, every baby born in America, then the minute they're born, the government creates a $1,000 account, puts it into the stock market for them so that they've got it when they retire, and then they get to look at that account on their iPhone or their phone for the rest of their lives and see what America is doing for them. And I think that that kind of bill is exactly what we need right now. And we don't need, like, we've extended the tax cuts, which created all this manufacturing in the U.S., but we focused really on the middle class in this bill, and that's why it's going to probably pass tonight or early in the morning, and that's my intel from the meeting with the president today.
Whoa, that is super cool. $1,000 as soon as the baby's born, put into the stock market. You can track it for your whole life. Todd, do a workup on that real quick and tell me what that $1,000 could be when that baby is a full-grown adult at the age 40. I want to find out. See if you can get that to me before the clip is over. Let's get into the big, beautiful bill for America. Corporate titans backing it. Trump demanding action. Democrats howl. Doom. And the stakes, your paycheck, border, freedom, and your children's future. This thread shreds the DC spin and drops receipts. We are breaking it all down. Let's go. Trump calls pass. Inside caucus 45 told House Republicans, 47 told House Republicans it's time to steady markets, extend the cuts, and finish the wall. Branding the one big beautiful bill, the ultimate 2025 Patriot litmus. Momentum has surged as he exited, cheers rolling through the halls.
That we're going to extend. President Trump came to our conference yesterday, and he was very clear. We need to move forward. We've been negotiating this. We've been working through this. It is the most conservative bill we've seen. Is it perfect? No. But we need to get this done today, and it's very important that we follow his lead. And he was clear with us. He said it's time to get this passed. It is time to show the markets that we are fiscally responsible, but also that we're going to extend those tax cuts and make good on the promises that he was mandated to do on November 5th.
Got it. Congressman August Pfluger. Thanks for joining us, sir. Always appreciate it. Thank you very much.
GOP unity locks. Majority Whip Scalise warns a catastrophic $2,000 hike for families if holdouts fold. Tax hikes versus relief. Border versus chaos. Stakes sharpen as countdown hits its final hours and K Street panics.
Families would, and what President Trump really talked about was the things that we all talked about during the campaign. How important it was to prevent a tax increase on working class families. Low and middle income families would see a large, painful tax increase if this bill were not to happen. And look, we all know every Democrat's going to vote no. They've bragged about it. They are fighting tooth and nail to stop us from preventing a tax increase. And what President Trump really...
Steel is backing the bill. American Iron and Steel Institute fires A capital alert passed the act to lock 100% bonus depreciation, R&D expensing, and interest relief, or watch the mills rust in China. Cheer. Union reps warn thousands of furnace jobs ride on the vote. Here is the message. AISI urging the House to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill Act as it restores key tax provisions that encourage manufacturing investment. Big steel behind it. John Deere digging in, the green giant pledging $20 billion over a decade. $20 billion. 60 plants across 16 states, 30,000 U.S. jobs, but only if Congress seals the pro-growth DNA baked into Trump's big, beautiful bill. Midwest mayors say approval means tractors roll and small towns boom. Who could vote against something like this? Only if you hate America would you vote against this. It's because they want to keep their constituents suffering, those Democrats. Workers winning big. White House economists project 4.2 million jobs, a $6,000 to $11,000 wage jump, $100 billion plus investment once the package clears. That's no trickle down. That's cash, a cash geyser for welders, truckers, coders alike, fueling factories and diners. Diners, coast to coast. One big beautiful bill. This is from the this is a graphic from the Council of Economic Advisors. 4.2 million new jobs. Look at that. Beautiful. Tax cut truth. Representative Andy Barr crunches the numbers, acts the bill, and a Kentucky family of four eats a $1,200 hike. Pass it in Main Street shops, dodge a 23% gut punch. Multiply that across 50 states, and you see why hometown chambers are lighting up the phones right now.
Earned $61,000 more unity today, this morning, than ever before, and we are going to pass the bill. A lot of those concerns have been allayed with some of the last-minute changes and because of the president's engagement, but the reality is that if we don't pass the bill, this is a $1,700 tax increase for the average family. In Kentucky, for a family of four that earns $61,000 a year, if we don't pass the bill, it's a $1,200 tax increase. That is not,
that based on the Congressional Budget Office?
This is not a tax cut for the wealthy. Kate, let me tell you something. The top rate on the wealthiest Americans today is 37%. After we pass this bill, the top rate on the wealthiest Americans will be 37%. It's the same. The tax cut is targeted for the middle income of Americans and for small businesses. If we don't pass this bill, small Main Street businesses, pass-through entities will face a 23% tax increase. This is the largest tax cut in American history, and it's targeted to Main Street businesses, families. Families with kids will face a $500 tax increase. Those are middle-income families with kids. If we don't pass the bill, this expands the standard deduction by $2,000. It expands the child tax credit by $500
so here's a question.
For
with all of
middle-income
those
Americans.
Things you're listing out,
all of this analysis about all of this analysis about this not being targeted to the lower and middle-income Americans is just a lie. It's
when you had mentioned
it's totally false.
Something
helps,
important there.
This helps average Americans more unity.
CNN. Core values enforced. Jim Jordan lays it out. Tax relief, border cash, work requirements, school choice, all in one shot. Calls it a four-pillared fortress, shielding families from D.C. overreach. Failed to vote yes, and the swamp pulls every brick tomorrow. While school choice is baked in.
To keep the border secure. Remember, this bill not only does that with the tax cuts that are in the legislation, but this embraces every key Republican principle we have. It says cut taxes, let parents and families keep more of their money to spend on their goals and dreams. It says provide money to keep the border secure that President Trump has now got secure. It says let's require work for able-bodied adults. That's good for taxpayers. That's good for our economy. Most importantly, it's good for the recipient. It gets them out to a better, more productive life. And this bill also says, let's give parents the ability to get to their kids to the school of their choice. School choice, tax cuts, secure border, and work requirements in our social welfare system. That's why Democrats hate it, because Democrats are against all those core conservative common sense principles that our party has. So that's why we should pass it. I know the deficits are too high and the debt's too big, and we need to deal with that. And this bill does to some degree, not as much as we should, but still it's a really good bill with those four fundamental Republican principles in it. Let's pass it. And as you say, Stuart, let's get our economy growing. Remember.
Okay, I got this just in from Todd. He says a draft of President Trump's big, beautiful bill includes a proposal to establish so-called MAGA savings accounts for children. The pilot program described as the Money Account for Growth and Advancement, MAGA, Money Account for Growth and Advancement, the MAGA account. In a draft released by the House Ways and Means Committee on Monday, would give the parents of every baby with a social security number born between the beginning of 2025 and the end of 2028 a one-time credit of $1,000. That money can be paid into the child's MAGA account, where it will accumulate interest and value through investment over time. Families and employees can contribute up to $5,000 a year to the children's account, and according to the House bill, the money will be exempt from taxation. Okay, you have some tweets. I'm going to get to those in a minute that you just bookmarked. But see if you could figure out what, like, at the age 40, if it was all the way out. Democrats are, of course, in panic mode as usual. Progressive Representative fuming that the bill bankrolls a golden dome and nukes while sealing Trump's wall. Translation: America First priorities torch their pet project. This clip shows colleagues literally covering their ears as cheers erupt on the GOP side tonight.
Billions of dollars. They've got a golden dome, and they have funding at the tune of billions of dollars for nuclear weapons in this bill. They want to continue to build Donald Trump's border wall. They've got a golden dome.
Keep crying. Billionaire myth bust. Representative Presley claims only Elon and Trump win. Fact check, top rate says 37% credits boost parents, veterans, and startups, plus child tax bump. Economists on set visibly cringe as her talking point crumbles.
The only people who've been seniors, veterans, and folks with disabilities. I mean, seriously, the only people who benefit from this bill are toy spaceship billionaires like Elon Musk and Donald Trump himself.
Yeah, sure. Unity or taxes, Fox Business guest warns Maria Bartiromo the Republican disunity means a catastrophic tax spike. Working families face $2,000 hits overnight. Small shops, 23% hikes. Wall Street will punish America by morning. Phones are burning up as constituents demand yes.
Of not passing. Republican unity is crucial right now, Maria, because the consequences of not passing this big, beautiful bill are catastrophic. They'll be disastrous for many constituents across the country who will see their taxes go up. And Republican.
If you want real news, follow us. If this threat armed you against the corporate spin, smash follow and keep up with the Next News Network. We got the White House hard pass creds, grill the power players, and drop evidence DC media hides. Stick around. No disappointment ahead. Okay, let's find what he just posted here. Okay, let's see what Todd found for us. Caroline Levitt, reigning rock star, Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed the House Budget Committee and has the backing of all Americans. It saves Americans over $1.6 trillion, sets up a savings account with $1,000 in it for all newborn American babies. Catholic vote posting is a baby boom on the horizon. President Trump's big, beautiful bill would create optional savings accounts for newborns. Let's see what she says.
For a newborn baby. One of the provisions in the One Big Beautiful Bill, as I said, this is a very pro-family piece of legislation. Not only does it increase the child tax credit, but it also includes MAGA baby savings accounts for children that are born before January 1st, 2024, under 8 years old, U.S. citizens, and have at least one parent with a valid Social Security number. And when this tax provision becomes law, the child, if the parents seek to do this, will be set up with a savings account. Essentially, it's a 401k for a newborn baby. And child's relatives, their parents, can contribute up to $5,000 per year of after-tax dollars annually to that account. And then later in the baby's life, at age 25, savings account holders can withdraw up to the full balance of the account. Upon reaching 30, the account holders can access the full balance of the account for any purpose desired. So it's a great initiative for new parents, new mothers who want to set up this savings account for their children.
Okay, so let's find out. Let's get the answer here. If there was an investment on a child as soon as they're born of $1,000 in the stock market, how much would that be worth if it wasn't touched or anyone added to it, if that by the time that child reaches the age of 40? Thinking. Okay, let's see. All right, let's find out the answer. Thinking. Calculating investment growth. The user wants to calculate how much a $1,000 investment will grow if left untouched for 40 years in the stock market. Okay, they're going to compute the future value with a specific formula. Is that, you say 45,000, Todd? Is that the number you're seeing? Okay, let's see here. Okay. Realistic ballpark. Wow, okay. Now, tell me that in simple language. Okay. All right, thinking. This is the power of AI right here. Okay, so let's find out. Okay, you're going to tell me? All right.
Broad stock market fund on the day a baby is born and leave it alone.
Wait, start over.
Put $1,000 into a broad stock market fund on the day a baby is born and leave it alone. If the market grows the way it usually has over the last century, about 10% a year, that single $1,000 can turn into roughly $40,000 to $50,000 by the time the child turns 40. Even with lower growth, it would still likely be over $20,000. In short, $1,000 today could become tens of thousands 4 decades later, just by sitting in the market.
So $40,000 to $50,000. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty remarkable. Baby first bonus. President Trump's bill would establish optional savings account for newborns with a $1,000 credit. That's super cool, I think. So this big, beautiful bill could reshape America's industrial heartland as billions in new investments stand ready to pour into American communities. So we have to ask, why did it take this long to put America first? With China watching nervously and global markets holding their breath, what happens in the next few days could determine America's economic destiny. Will Congress answer Trump's call to action, or will they cave to special interests? The stakes could not be higher for American workers and their families. So share your thoughts below on what this big and beautiful bill would mean for your family. And if you are ready to spend some of that big, beautiful money, head on over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com to check out our latest merch. All right. Speaking of spending money, did anyone spend any more money in our super chats? Let's check. Nope. Irving is the last one at 45.47. I love it. Checking in with, let's see. Beans and Frank says he's laughing the arse off if you think the American government traders won't steal it blind if you aren't very smart. Oof. Yeah. Okay. For 4 decades, I wonder how inflation will be 4 decades from now. I remember buying a used car for $1,000. Good point. Craig, I'm here and taking the bell of the ball. What? Lilac Dreams. What if 5,000 is added each year? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, and that's what you can do. Yeah. We could ask that question. Okay, how about that? $5,000 a year. Okay, what happens if you add $5,000 every year until the baby is 40? How much? Well, the initial 1,000 is just to get it started, right? So it's existing. That's, I think, what the point is here. How much would it be worth? Respond in simple language. All right, let's see what it says. This should be interesting. Compounded. Yeah, it's thinking, clarifying. Okay, could include initial, yes, assuming, okay, doing the math. Man, I'm watching it like do the math right here. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. I could probably, I could do this on the other phone too. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll have to, if I do that again, I'll use the other phone. Okay, so here we go.
Think of it like this. Put in $5,000 every year for 40 years. That's 40 deposits. Let the money grow in a stock market fund that earns about 10% a year on average, the long-term S&P 500 figure. After all those years, the pile has time to snowball. Rough outcome, a little over $2 million by the child's 40th birthday. Even if the market grows more slowly, at 8% a year, it still ends up around $1.3 million. At 6%, it's roughly $800,000. So adding $5K each year turns steady savings into a 7-figure nest egg, thanks to decades of compound growth.
Wow. That's super cool. And that's what President Trump's doing, man. He's looking out for all of us. So maybe we got to maybe I got to call Angie and we have to have another kid. What do you guys think? Should we have another baby? All right, let's go into the next topic of the night. All right, the woke chaos is hitting sanctuary cities. Robert Kennedy dropping $4.99. Thank you, Robert. Are you the real Robert Kennedy? Are you that Robert Kennedy? You've got all these other tweets bookmarked here. What am I supposed to do with those, Todd? Okay, let's do the thread first. All right. Okay. Wait, what topic are we on? Topic 4? Yes, okay. Tonight's congressional hearing just blew the lid off the sanctuary city crisis. What unfolded in that chamber tells a story of chaos, obstruction, and a system pushed to its breaking point, from a congresswoman's explosive detention center confrontation to mayors and judges actively undermining federal law. The testimony left even seasoned committee members shaken, but it's what happened at Delaney Hall that really shows how dangerous his sanctuary rebellion has become. And as President Trump's big, beautiful bill aims to end this crisis once and for all, we're about to show you why this hearing could change everything. So keep watching. And just like our law enforcement officers need peak performance, so do you. But here's what they don't tell you. One common health food could be sabotaging your testosterone levels right now. The team behind Test Boost Max has seen it happen to thousands of men. But once they removed that one food and added Test Boost Max 8 powerful ingredients, natural ingredients, they start building muscle, losing fat, and feeling alive again. You want to know what that testosterone-killing food is and how to fix it? Visit sculptnation.com/NNN. You'll find it linked below this video, and what you'll find there is a free video. So check it out. All right. Woke chaos meets the crackdown, the ICE crackdown showdown. From courthouse melees to sanctuary rebellions, Trump team vowing law and order supremacy while radicals cry foul. Witness the evidence, the clashes, the victims, and the heroes. We're breaking it all down for you. The woke days are over. Trump erupts after Representative McIver's detention center shove fest. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over. His impromptu gaggle sets a tone for the big, beautiful border funding and mass deportation flights. Let's go to the president.
Crap are over. Oh, give me a break. Did you see her? She was out of control. Those days are over. The days of woke, no, I didn't. The days of woke are over. That woman, I have no idea who she is. That woman was out of control. She was shoving federal agents. She was out of control. The days of that crap are over in this country. We're going to have law and order. Oh, give me a...
It's over. Judge cuffing the mayor. Democrat rails that Trump's Department of Injustice arrested a Milwaukee judge, and New York's mayor calling it intimidation, yet uncut video shows charges tied to ICE obstruction, not politics. The narrative war escalates in committee halls.
Without objection.
Thank you.
for coming, and you may be seated. And let the record reflect, Mr. Chairman, the vast number of people who came in support of Representative LaMonica McIver.
Without objection.
The Trump administration has weaponized justice, using the Department of Injustice to carry forward an assault on liberty. Trump has threatened and intimidated a number of lawyers and powerful law firms into submission. He has put powerful institutions of higher learning under his thumb, and he has forced powerful media companies to bow down and kiss his ring. Now he's threatening and trying to intimidate his adversaries in elective office. Last month, Trump's Department of Injustice arrested a female judge doing her job at the courthouse in Milwaukee. They then arrested the mayor of Newark, in the same city that he leads. And now, yesterday, they have filed charges against a member of the House of Representatives. And today, we are engaged in a pre-planned hearing entitled, quote, examining threats to ICE operations, end quote, while producing a highly prejudicial, expertly edited video published to taint the jury pool and shape a false narrative on Representative McIver's actions. MAGA Republicans are using this hearing to justify the charges against her. And in support of the charges, they publish more video that demonizes people being held in private, for-profit ICE detention facilities. What is really happening is that Trump and his MAGA enablers are misusing their positions of power to prosecute people who refuse to lay down and get run over as they assault our liberties.
Oh, man, you gotta love it. The spin machine is roaring. Democrat allies claim Congresswoman's tour was benign oversight. Tom Homan counters. 6 camera angles prove she shoved agents and crossed a line.
There's a proper way to do it. Well, look, they have a right to be there for oversight, but there's a proper way to do it. Forcing your way in the facility, putting hands on an ICE officer is not the way to do it. So I think she was out of line. I've seen the videotape. I've seen 6 or 7 different videotapes that show her acting unprofessionally. These are the same people who, for 4 years, are saying President Trump wasn't above the law. Well, either is she. There's a line you can't cross, and I think she crossed it. Now, I'll leave it up to Alina Habba, the prosecutor who's handling this case, to prove the case, but the video makes it clear to me that she wasn't being professional that day. She certainly didn't act like a member of Congress. She certainly could have requested a tour. They give tours all the time, and if she got the tour, and many people have had the tour since, they've seen a grade A facility, the highest detention standards in the industry, that puts to shame any facility, county or state, that New Jersey has. So it was I think it was politics over public safety. That's a facility where the worst of the worst are housed. We can't lose control of that facility. But her actions cause a ruckus at that facility and makes that facility unsafe. Well, look, they have a right to...
Made the facility unsafe. Chaos blocks care. Witness recounts protesters forming a human wall around Delaney Hall, blocking an ambulance and endangering detainee and officer lives while Mayor Baraka was led away in cuffs. This isn't speech, it's reckless force. Proof activism can kill.
What occurred at Delaney Hall in Newark recently was not civil disobedience, it was chaos. I've seen this before in New York. I personally witnessed a high-profile arrest spiral into pandemonium when protesters, misinformed and misled, physically blocked a medically necessary EMS transfer. They endangered the detainee's life, the officer's life, the general public's life, and ICE personnel. The Newark protest, which led to the arrest of sitting Mayor Ras Baraka, echoed that same recklessness. These actions just don't disrupt operations. They escalate risk, threaten lives, and turn lawful enforcement into a spectacle. Protest is a constitutional right. Interfering with lawful enforcement is not. What occurred at the
Sanctuary state surge. ICE veteran testifies. Governors now order cops to ignore detainers. Judges sneak felons out back doors, and even members of Congress are joining in the obstruction. It's gotten so bad, nothing surprises me anymore, he warns the stunned chamber.
New Jersey, Denver, but that's exactly what's happening around the country, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, in my home state of New Jersey, that's fact.
Yeah, it's happened everywhere. New Jersey, Denver, Boston, you name it. It's happened there. And did you ever think you'd see governors and state legislatures do the same thing and say, you know what, our whole darn state is going to be a sanctuary state. Don't work with ICE when they're coming to enforce the law. Did you ever think you'd see that?
No, sir.
Did you ever think you would see judges in their chambers tell the bad guy, hey, talk to his lawyer, hey, slip out the back door because the ICE agents are coming in the front door to enforce federal law? Did you ever think you'd see that?
No, sir.
And did you ever think you would see what happened last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say, in New Jersey? Did you ever think you'd see members of Congress engage in that kind of behavior?
Sir, after what I witnessed in 2018, yes, in New York City, I didn't put it past anybody, but I find that behavior to be absurd.
Well, in other words, Mr. McCall, it's gotten so bad, nothing surprises you now with what the left's going to do.
Nothing, sir.
I know. And that's where the American people are. And that's why they appreciate what the Trump administration is doing. Why is it better to arrest people at the jails or at the courthouse, Mr. Mikowski, than it is out on the street? Why is that better?
I believe my colleague had touched on it, but it's much safer for the alien, the person involved, and it's also safer for the general public. Most importantly, the officers. The rule of thumb is safety
it's
first.
Safer for everyone, but that's exactly what's happening around the country, isn't it?
Safety first. Beds save lives. Delaney Hall's 1,000 new beds cage MS-13 killers. GOP says expansion, bankrolled by the big, beautiful bill, keeps predators off the streets. The left brands it a for-profit captivity. Safety versus slogans reaches a fever pitch as the House vote nears.
Facility here in Newark, New Jersey, and they turned that ambulance away.
The detention facility holds members of MS-13, murderers, arsonists, drug traffickers, American killers.
We want freedom. Free our people. This is sacred ground. Free our people. This is not a legal facility.
On May 1st, Delaney Hall, a 1,000-bed detention facility in Newark, New Jersey, was officially reopened. It houses illegal aliens charged with crimes like rape, murder, burglary, and weapons offenses. Facilities like Delaney Hall are desperately needed to help prevent dangerous criminal aliens from remaining on our streets, on your streets. The reopening of Delaney drastically expanded ICE's detention capacity in the Northeast and enhanced the agency's ability to manage the increasing number of enforcement and removal operations of illegal aliens in our country. Let me be very clear. Delaney Hall is not the problem. Delaney Hall is part of the solution. The real problem is the radical left-wing agenda that sides with criminals over citizens, activists over agents, and chaos over common sense. To the men and women of ICE, this committee has your back. To the communities of New Jersey and the Northeast and the United States of America, we will not let your safety become a political casualty. And to the American people, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. You want a country that protects its citizens. You want a system that upholds the law. And you want a government that chooses order, not anarchy. That's exactly what House Republicans are fighting for. And I promise you, we will win this fight against left-wing chaos.
Victims, not stats. Witness lists. Sex offender Jorge Sanchez Luna, fugitive. I don't know, like reading that. Lopez Reyes, among hundreds now held in Newark, asking critics, whose side are you on? Families of victims applaud as names and sentences roll across the committee scenes.
Who is a registered Was it to free Jorge Luis Sanchez Luna, a Mexican national who is a registered sex offender who sexually assaulted his own daughter? Or was it Lopez Reyes, a Mexican national who's wanted in Mexico? They want him back in Mexico. He's a fugitive for the offense of raping a child, raping a minor. There are hundreds of other awful, horrible individuals like these men currently being arrested in New Jersey, and they're being held at Delaney Hall.
God. Encounters collapse fast. Committee grills former ICE chief who insisted deterrence impossible. Stats now show 95% drop at 15-year low under Trump. Exposing Biden-era apologists. The only defense, the border secure. Laughter erupts.
You were chief of staff. Thank you for holding this hearing today on what I believe to be one of the most, probably the most important issue that our country faces right now, which is illegal immigration. Mr. Hauser, I've got a few questions for you. You were chief of staff for ICE, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What years were you there?
2021 to 2023.
So that was during the Biden administration, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Got it. So presumably you're well-versed in border security and immigration enforcement, is that right?
Yes, sir. I would say that I'm very aware. I also worked at CBP under the Obama administration. Yes, sir.
Got it. So you've got a lot of experience there. Can I ask you a few questions? In an interview with the Daily Blast on February 28th, 2024, you mentioned, quote, "You can't deter and punish your way to lowering encounters at the border," end quote. Do you think you were right or wrong about that?
100%, sir. What we've seen...
100% what? Right or wrong?
100% I was correct.
You were correct about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The idea that you just dismantle an immigration system is not... There was a mandate to the Trump administration.
Illegal alien border encounters are down 95% right now. I think you were wrong about that. You also said, quote, "The idea that you can turn off the border is just not factual." Do you think that was right or wrong?
Sir, the threats that we're still seeing across the border...
Do you think you were right or wrong about that statement?
What's that, sir?
My question is, were you right or wrong about that statement?
When you turn off the
off
immigration system, sir, yes, you will not see encounters. Yes.
Well, southwestern border encounters are at a 15-year low under President Trump. Another thing that you mentioned, quote, "Just shutting off the border to asylum seekers is not going to do that," meaning close the border. What I think is going to do that is make it more erratic and sporadic for the sort of large surges of migrants you would see coming across the border. Do you think that was right or wrong?
100% correct. It was correct, sir. We're going to see that over the next couple of years. Yes,
border apprehensions are down now because President Trump has secured our border. He's stopped the flow of illegal aliens coming across our border and coming to our border. Do you think that we have a better or worse border situation now than we did under Joe Biden?
Sir, I believe the border is secure.
You believe the border is secure, that's right. But you were wrong about a lot of other things, about what would secure the border, is that right?
No, sir, it's only been 100 days.
You were wrong about what it would take to stop the flow of illegal aliens coming into the United States. You were wrong that secure enforcement that we're seeing under President Trump would stop the flow of illegal aliens. You ought to keep that in mind as you're going to the media and mouthing off about the president.
Can I answer that question?
Thank you for holding.
Chaos by design. Opening statement details how Biden's wall halt and remain in Mexico repeal unleash cartels, fentanyl, and violent crime. Collapse wasn't an accident. It was ideology over enforcement.
Shows chaos. The open southwest border created a drug crisis, a human smuggling crisis, and a violent crime crisis. Unfortunately, none of this was by accident. It happened because the Biden-Harris administration chose chaos over control, ideology over enforcement of the law, and politics over the American people. The numbers just don't show a crisis. They show a full-scale collapse of our sovereignty, our security, and the very idea that a nation without borders is still a nation at all. The worst part of it all is that it just didn't happen. It was designed. On day one of his presidency, the Biden-Harris administration canceled border wall construction. Day one. It gutted the Remain in Mexico policy. It abused immigration patrol authorities to release hundreds, thousands of illegal aliens into our communities. It virtually stopped enforcing immigration laws on the interior of the United States, which resulted in more than a 60% increase in ICE arrests during the first few months of the administration. The open southwest border created a drug crisis.
Numbers tell the story. Since Trump's restart, 135,000 criminal illegals deported, 232,000 pounds of drugs seized, MS-13 kingpins jailed. Hearing warns that sanctuary cities still sabotage the ops, but momentum is undeniable.
And the FBI and already his administration has deported over 135,000 criminal illegal aliens. CFPB and Coast Guard have seized 232,000 pounds of drugs at our southern border, and the FBI has arrested suspected MS-13 gang members, including high-ranking members in New York and Virginia. That's what enforcing our immigration laws looks like. That's what the president campaigned on. He's doing exactly what he said. And it all happened without any help from the other side. Rather than seeking to protect the people they represent, they're fighting for criminal illegal aliens to stay in this country. Now think about this too. First, it was sanctuary cities, local officials saying, we're not going to help ICE enforce federal law. Even when they get a detainer, they let them out of the jail when they're trying to come apprehend them. People have been in there. We had the situation in Denver where the illegal alien was in for auto theft, charged with auto theft, aggravated assault, and they said, we're not going to release him to ICE. ICE had sent a detainer saying, give us 48 hours, heads up. They gave him 40 minutes. They had to arrest the guy in the parking lot, and an ICE agent gets injured. They had to tase. It was bad for the migrant, bad for the law enforcement, endangers the public. But that's what left-wing policies do. Sanctuary cities, then it was sanctuary states, whole states, sanctuary states, and saying we're not going to work with federal law enforcement. Then it was judges letting the bad guy out the back door while the good guys are coming in the front door to arrest him. And now we find out it could even be members of Congress. That's what we saw at Delaney Hall a couple weeks ago. It wasn't congressional oversight. ICE has an important job to do, and God bless the men and women who serve in ICE. And already his...
Follow the real news. If this thread armed you against the media spin, smash follow and stand front row with Gary in the Next News Network. We wield White House hard pass creds, grill officials, and drop the receipts. And there's yours truly at the White House. So, what else have we got here? We got this. This was posted just 3 hours ago. Tom Homan.
Manner, and she claims she was there on oversight. We open facilities of oversight every day across this country. There are, all you have to do is show up to the facility in a professional manner and request a visit. Go through screening and go see it. We are proud of that facility. I want everybody to go look at it. Maybe all the false narrative will stop about how ICE's detention standards are just so terrible. But she put hands, she shoved an officer, she put hands on her officer. That's unacceptable. These ICE officers, and when you cause a ruckus like that, then that makes that facility unsecure, because officers who should be dealing with the prisoners, very serious prisoners, criminals in that facility, they're dealing with the ruckus outside. It makes the facility unsafe. It's unsafe for the officers. It's unsafe for the general public. We take the security of those facilities very seriously. She knows how to do oversight. You go there and request to look at it. Don't barge your way in. And regardless of what happens, you don't put hands and you don't shove an ICE officer who's there to protect the facility and protect the public from the people in that facility.
Yeah, there's protocol, and she clearly did not follow that protocol. U.S. Attorney Elena Haba charged Congresswoman MacIver with violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 111A1 for assaulting, impeding, and interfering with law enforcement. Yes. U.S. Attorney Haba is on the case. Juanita Broderick says, lock her up. Hope she has to wear orange. U.S. Attorney Haba charging Representative LaMonica MacIver with assaulting and impeding and interfering. Mike Davis, is Representative Swalwell obstructing justice by threatening a U.S. attorney for bringing federal charges? He says a red line, Swalwell says, a red line has been crossed. Trump is prosecuting his political enemies in Congress. This is just the beginning. We must take whatever we've done before to show dissent and go one rung higher. And save your BS documents on this, Elena. You'll need them when you testify. Wow. That's Representative Eric Swalwell. So what unfolded in that hearing room exposes the true cost of sanctuary policies. As testimony revealed the scope of obstruction nationwide, from detention center confrontations to judges helping felons escape, the numbers paint a very clear picture. 135,000 criminal aliens removed, drug seizures soaring, and MS-13 kingpins behind bars. But the bigger questions remain. How many more officials will choose politics over public safety, like Eric Swalwell? When governors order police to ignore detainers and local leaders block enforcement, who pays the price? And most importantly, what happens now that Congress has seen the full scope of the crisis? The battle lines are drawn. So where do you stand? Share your thoughts below. And visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com to check out the latest merch and show the world where you stand with the real news. Okay, this just in. Looks like we got some super chats. Sweet. I love the supers. Super duper. Okay, so we got Robert Kennedy's $4.99. Thank you for that. And then we got Craig. Gary, overeducated is trying to steal my girlfriend, Caroline. Tell him to stop. Overeducated. Come on now. Caroline? You mean like Caroline Levitt? I believe she's spoken for, sir. And speaking of Caroline Levitt, I just got the press guidance for tomorrow. So what's happening at the White House tomorrow? In the new media chair in the pool is the Washington Reporter. Pool call time 9 a.m. 11 a.m. the president is receiving his intelligence briefing in the Oval Office. That is closed press. 12:30, President Trump will be having lunch with the vice president in the private dining room. No press permitted. At 3:45, oh, this should be cool. The president participating in a Maha Commission event in the East Room. Only White House press pool will be permitted. And if you don't know what that means, you have, like myself, I'm part of the White House press corps. And then there's another tier, which is the White House pool. And that is a very small number of press. So, for example, the pool tomorrow, TV, Core and Crew is ABC, Photos, AP, AFP, New York Times, Reuters, and Getty. Oh, AP's back. Print is Bloomberg Government. Radio is AURN. Secondary TV is One America News. How cool is that? Secondary print is USA Today. And like I said, the new media is the Washington Reporter. So 3:45, there will be a Maha Commission event. 6:40, the president will be heading to the Trump National Golf Club. And then he will be having a private dinner at Trump National at 7 o'clock. He'll be back at the White House at 8:40 p.m. So I'm assuming, with that, probably Trump National Golf Club. Where is that located? Will he be taking the Beast or Marine One? Have to look into that. But at 1 o'clock p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time, there will be another press briefing by the White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. And I just notified our team in D.C. to get ready for that. So we should have that for you tomorrow. Jupiter, Florida? No, I don't think that's the one he's going to. If he's in D.C., he's going to the D.C. one. Trump National. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get to our next topic. Elon Musk. I love it. Oh, you guys sorted it out? Craig? Never mind, Gary. We worked it out. Okay, good. All right, let's go and see what's going on with the Doge boys, huh? At the Qatar Economic Forum, Bloomberg's Michelle Hussein thought she could corner Elon Musk about his Department of Government Efficiency. That was a big mistake. What followed was a masterclass in putting smug journalists in their place. Like talking on a computer, that's what Musk said. And that was only the beginning. From Doge's effectiveness to Tesla's future, from political spending to AI warnings, every question became an opportunity for Musk to expose the media agenda. But it's what happened when they pushed him about the OpenAI lawsuit that really set the virtual forum ablaze. And when you see how this exchange ends, you'll understand why his critics have gone mysteriously quiet. So don't go anywhere. And just like Musk's innovations changed the game, Dr. Josh's turmeric discovery is revolutionizing pain relief. If you've got acheness or stiffness or constant joint pain, listen up. His breakthrough, the extract, is 200 times more powerful than store-bought turmeric, helping over 300,000 Americans ditch pain medication and injections by attacking inflammation at its source. This turmeric hack shuts off pain naturally like a light switch. Visit goldenrevive.com/NNN. You'll find it linked right below this video. Just tap more and watch the video to learn how Dr. Josh's discovery could help you live pain-free without dangerous medications. Now, on the Qatar Economic Forum stage, Elon Musk dropping bombshell after bombshell. Rogue AGI could chain humanity. DC red tape throttles inventors. Big tech sold its soul for profit. We are about to break it all down. And of course, that moment when he roasted Bill Gates. So the AI lawsuits are raging. Musk says OpenAI broke its pledge, like turning a rainforest charity into a lumber cartel. He's suing. Staked $50 million, demands open source code, or else warns Congress humanity will kneel to a digital god within this decade if profit wins.
Left, and let's talk about AI, which is in so many of your businesses and in all our worlds in different ways. It's one of the big changes, the development of generative AI, since you last spoke to this forum 3 years ago. You're in this space, of course, with Grok, which almost everyone will know. You co-founded OpenAI and then left, and you've obviously got a legal battle with OpenAI and Sam Altman. I wonder if you could say something about the status of that, because you were together in Saudi Arabia with the president last week with Sam Altman. In the same place at the same time?
Sam was in the neighborhood.
Okay, so does that mean you are pushing ahead with the lawsuit against OpenAI?
Yes. So look, I came up with the name OpenAI as an open source and as a nonprofit. And I funded OpenAI for the first roughly $50 million. It was intended to be a nonprofit open source company, and now they're trying to change that for their own financial benefit into a for-profit company that is closed source. So this would be like, let's say you funded a nonprofit to help preserve the Amazon rainforest, but instead of doing that, they became a lumber company, chopped down the forest, and sold the wood. You'd be like, wait a second, that's not what I funded. That's OpenAI.
They've made some changes to their corporate structure, though, haven't they, since, in recognition of what you've said?
No, that's just what they told the media.
Okay. They have partly walked back their plan to restructure the business. I guess that's made no difference to how you feel about it. So you're determined to see them in court?
Of course.
Okay. Well, that's certainly going to be one to watch. I also wanted to ask you about AI and regulation, because when you were here last talking to John Micklethwaite, you had some pretty strong words about the risk that AI poses, and you said that you really felt what the US was missing was a federal AI regulator, that, you know, something along the lines of the Food and Drug Administration or the Federal Aviation Administration. Now, you're clearly now in a zone where you're more on the cutting regulation side than wanting new regulators. So has your view changed on the need for an AI regulator?
Well, it's not that I don't think there should be regulators. You can think of regulators like referees on the field in sports. There should be some number of referees, but that you shouldn't have so many referees that you can't kick the ball without hitting one. In most fields in the U.S., the regulatory burden has grown over time to the point where it's like having more referees than players on the field. And this is a natural consequence of an extended period of prosperity. It's very important to appreciate this. This has happened throughout history. When you have an extended period of prosperity with no existential war, there's no cleansing function for unnecessary laws and regulations. So what happens is that every year more laws and more regulations are passed because, you know, legislators are going to legislate, regulators are going to regulate, and you will get the steady pile of more and more laws and regulations over time until everything is illegal. And let me give you an example of a truly absurd situation. Under the Biden administration, SpaceX was sued for not hiring asylum seekers in the U.S. Now, the problem is it's actually illegal for SpaceX under ITAR, International Traffic in Arms Regulations, to hire anyone who is not a permanent resident of the United States, because the premise being that they will take advanced rocket technology and return to their home country if they're not a permanent resident. So we're simultaneously in a situation where it is illegal to hire asylum seekers and is also illegal to hire asylum seekers. And the Biden's Department of Justice chose to prosecute us despite both paths being illegal.
Let's talk about
goodness. Regulator overlord slam. Musk compares DC bureaucracy to a soccer pitch jammed with refs so thick you can't kick.
Which you...
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But my question was specifically about a regulator for AI, which you said 3 years ago was needed, and you said we need to be proactive on the regulation of AI rather than reactive. Have you changed your mind on that?
No, of course not. No, of course not. What I'm saying is that there should be some referees on the field, a few referees, but you shouldn't have a field jam-packed with referees such that you could not kick a ball in any direction without hitting one. So the fields that have been around for a long time, such as automotive, so aerospace, the sort of food and drug industries, are over-regulated, but the new fields, like artificial intelligence, are under-regulated. In fact, there is no regulator at all.
So there should be.
So
do you still think that?
Yes, I'm simply saying, which I think is just basic common sense, that you want to have at least you want to have a few referees in the field. You don't want to have an army of referees, but you want to have a few referees on any given field, in any given sport, or even any given arena, industrial arena, to ensure that public safety is taken care of. But you don't want to have so there's a proper number of referees. Like I said, it's actually very easy to visualize this when compared to sports. If the whole field is packed with referees, that would look absurd. But if there were no referees at all, your game's not going to be as good.
Okay.
NPC moment exposed. Tired of scripted gotchas, bust blasts interview. You're trapped in an NPC dialogue tree.
That you're planning to save. I want to ask you about the total amount that you're planning to save through Doge's work. Before the election, you said it was going to be at least $2 trillion. The number currently on Doge.gov is $170 billion. That's a big change. What happened to the $2 trillion?
Or do you expect it to happen immediately?
Well, is it going to happen? Because DOGE is supposed to run till next July.
I mean, your question is absurd in its fundamental premise. Are you assuming that on day, within a few months, there's an instant $2 trillion saved?
No, I'm not at all. I'm just asking, is that still your aim then? Is it still your aim to get to $2 trillion?
Given the amount of time? Have we not made good progress given the amount of time?
That's exactly what I'm asking. So is it still your aim to go from 170 billion to 2 trillion?
The ability of DOGE to operate is a function of whether the government, and this includes the Congress, is willing to take our advice. We're not the dictators of the government, we are the advisors. And so we can advise, and the progress we've made thus far, I think, is incredible. The DOGE team has done incredible work. But the magnitude of the savings is proportionate to the support we get from Congress and from the executive branch of the government in general. So we're not the dictators, we are the advisors. But thus far, for advisors, the DOGE team, to their credit, has made incredible progress.
You've talked about $4 billion a day being saved, but that won't get, and I think everyone can agree that combating waste and inefficiency in government is a very good thing. But if you add that up, it's not going to get to 2 trillion over the lifetime of DOGE.
I'm sorry.
The 4 billion a day, if DOGE is going to run till next July, is not going to get you to $2 trillion. But you still say it's your aim, so we'll take that as read.
There's what DOGE. I mean, I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NPC dialogue tree of a traditional journalist. So it's difficult when I'm conversing with someone who's trapped in the dialogue tree of a conventional journalist, because it's like talking to a computer. DOGE is an advisory group. We are doing the best we can as an advisory group. The progress made thus far as an advisory group is excellent. I don't think any advisory group has done better in the history of advisory groups of the government. We do not make the laws, nor do we control the judiciary, nor do we control the executive branch. We are simply advisors. In that context, we are doing very well. Beyond that, we cannot take action beyond that, because we are not some sort of imperial dictator of the government. There are 3 branches of government that are to some degree opposed to that level of cost savings. But nonetheless, let's not criticize whether there's 4 trillion, and instead look at the fact that 160 billion has been saved, and more will be saved too.
I want to ask you:
is the glass half empty or half full? Right. This is the moment that was absolutely epic. When he was questioned on U.S. aid cuts, Musk fires back. Who's Bill Gates?
I do want to ask you about U.S. aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him. I know you've said that already. I wondered, and I'm just.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Boom.
Well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot of his own money on philanthropy around the world over the years. My question to you is, have you looked at the data to check if he might be right that the cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives?
Yes. I'd like him to show us any evidence whatsoever that is true. It's false. What we found with USAID cuts, and by the way, they haven't all been cut. The parts of USAID that we found to be even slightly useful were transferred to the State Department. So they've not been deleted, they've simply been transferred to the State Department. But many times over with USAID and other organizations, when they said, oh, well, this is going to help, children, or it's going to help some disease eradication or something like that. And then when we ask for any evidence whatsoever, I say, well, please connect us with this group of children so we can talk to them and understand more about their issue. We get nothing. We don't even try to come up with a show orphan, meaning like it's sort of like, well, can we at least see a few kids? Like, where are they? If they're in trouble, we'd like to talk to them and talk to their caregivers.
Okay, well,
and then we get nothing as a response, because it's what we find is an enormous amount of fraud and graft.
Okay, let me put this example to you.
Very little of it actually gets to the kids, if anything at all.
Okay. I do want to ask you.
Starlink freedom push. Musk slams South Africa's 140 race-based telecom regs, blocking Starlink, invoking Mandela.
Also had, let's think about Starlink. Starlink is obviously a very, very good internet service. It's sought after all over the world. It's critical to the front line in Ukraine. It has also had more contracts coming its way, and there is some evidence that companies are allowing access to it because they want to be close to the Trump administration and send the right signal. So Bloomberg broke news today that the South African government is working around the rules on black ownership in order to allow Starlink in, and that is being done on the eve of the visit that President Ramaphosa is going to make to the White House. Do you recognize that as a conflict of interest?
No, of course not. First of all, you should be questioning why are there racist laws in South Africa? That's the first problem. That's what you should be attacking. It's improper for there to be racist laws in South Africa. The whole idea with what Nelson Mandela, who was a great man, proposed was that all races should be on an equal footing in South Africa. That's the right thing to do, not to replace one set of racist laws with another set of racist laws, which is utterly wrong and improper. So that's the deal, that all races should be treated equally, and there should be no preference given to one or the other. Whereas there are now 140 laws in South Africa that give that basically give strong preference to if you're a black South African, and not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but can't get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer. Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring
yes
bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
I asked you a question. Yes or no?
Not for me.
Laws, yes or no?
Not for me to answer. I have got a question for you about your government work though, and the amount of savings.
Why do you like racist laws?
This is not for me to answer. Come on.
Yes, it is.
Now, you wouldn't be trying to dodge a question.
You have to ask the question. I answer my question. No, you answer mine.
I think if you... I'm sure you can have that conversation directly with the South African government if you want to. I want to ask you about the total...
I can't believe it. That's not good.
I want to ask you about the total amount...
Why do you like racist laws?
Let's think about...
Well, that was perfect. Musk now dismissing the Delaware judge as a Halloween activist, insisting on voting control, not cash.
Being the chief executive of Tesla. Tell me then how committed you are to Tesla. Do you see yourself, and are you committed to still being the chief executive of Tesla in 5 years' time?
Yes.
No doubt about that at all.
Well, no, I might die.
Okay, short of that.
I can't be see if I'm dead, so there's a slight amount of...
Does that mean that the value of your pay doesn't have any bearing on your decision?
Well, that's not really a subject of discussion in this forum. I think obviously there should be compensation for, if there's if something incredible is done, that compensation should match that something incredible was done. But I'm confident that whatever some activist posing as a judge in Delaware happens to do will not affect the future compensation.
This is the judge who twice struck down the $56 billion pay package that was awarded to you. I think the value on the current value of stock options. Yeah.
Not a judge. The activist who is cosplaying a judge in a Halloween costume.
Okay, that's your characterization. I think
Yes.
on the current value of stock options, I think the actual
Justice according to the law.
on the current value of stock options, I think the value of that pay package stands at about $100 billion. Are you saying you are relaxed about the value of your future pay package, your decision to be committed to Tesla for the next 5 years, as long as you are still with us on this planet, is completely independent of pay?
No.
It's not independent. So pay is a relevant factor then to your commitment to Tesla.
It's sufficient voting control such that I cannot be ousted by activist investors is what matters to me. And I've said this publicly many times. But let's not have this whole thing be a discussion of my alleged pay. It's not a money thing. It's a reasonable control thing over the future of the company, especially if we're building millions, potentially billions of humanoid robots. I can't be sitting there and wanting to get tossed out by, for political reasons, by activists. That would be unacceptable. That's all that matters. Now let's move on.
Okay. Well, just one question.
Now let's move on.
Well, one question before we move on to other companies, which is that I wonder if some of what has happened to Tesla in the last few months, did you take...
Okay, moving right along. This is quite a thread. A lot of information here. Let's go to Maria Bartiromo. Doge fraud buster. Capital testimony shows Social Security Chief Frank Bisignano hailing Musk Doge task force.
The work that Doge did was 100% accurate. They were identifying opportunity for fraud, and they still end up being a tremendous resource for us. And, you know, partnering with Doge has been tremendously valuable, even in my first few days here. And it's really about data integrity. That Social Security number, and I keep saying it, travels through the whole ecosystem, right? Every element, everywhere you go, people want to understand the Social Security number. If that Social Security number is still alive in the system, it has the opportunity for fraud. So we've worked really hard. I think people have done tremendous work at getting much higher data integrity. We've definitely found things that are not good, but I view it as out of adversity comes opportunity. The opportunity to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. The president was 100% right. He had it early, and he knew what he saw, and he used the information, and I plan on running a much tighter ship here.
So scrolling back real quick here, this is where Musk vows prison time for the radicals who torched his Teslas.
The violent antibody reaction, and I'm not someone who's ever committed violence, and yet massive violence was committed against my companies. Massive violence was threatened against me. Who are these people? Why would they do that? How wrong can they be? They're on the wrong side of history, and that's an evil thing to do. To go and damage some poor innocent person's car, to threaten to kill me. What's wrong with these people? I've not harmed anyone. So something needs to be done about them, and a number of them are going to prison, and they deserve it. And more will.
You're referring to the attacks on Tesla showrooms, but I think...
Yeah. Firing bullets into showrooms and burning down cars is unacceptable.
Yeah.
those people will go to prison, and the people that funded them and organized them will also go to prison. Don't worry.
But wouldn't you?
We're coming for you.
Wouldn't you?
So what we witnessed in that Qatar Economic Forum wasn't just another tech CEO interview. It was a raw, unfiltered takedown of media bias. As Musk squared off with Bloomberg's Hussein, the real story emerged. A billionaire refusing to play by the press's rules. So the questions remain. Why are they so desperate to discredit Doge's success? What's behind the push to challenge his political spending? And most importantly, what happens when those robo-taxis hit Austin streets next month? Well, this wasn't just about defending his vision. It was about exposing the truth about media bias, government waste, and the future of American innovation. So what do you think about Musk's fierce pushback? I thought it was pretty awesome. Share your thoughts below. And make sure, if you want to spread the truth about the Next News Network, wear it proudly. Visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and check out our latest merch. All right. What is going on in the chat room? We are at $81.45 with 2 new members. And are we going to hit 100 tonight? Maybe we will. I don't know. You guys will be the judge of that. If you like the show tonight, you like what we put together, drop a tip. Give us a tip. Just a tip. Okay, let's find out. Let's go to the main news feed here. See what's going on. Okay. Secretary Kristi Noem, 17 seconds ago. 2 Israeli embassy staff were senselessly killed tonight near the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Oh, my goodness. We're actively investigating and working to get more information to share. Please pray for the families of the victims. Oh, my goodness. Israeli embassy staff killed near the Jewish Museum in D.C. Holy cow. Let's see, where is that? Let's see, hang on. There's some video here. That is really scary. That is really, really scary. Hang on. I'm going to try to find out where this is. Okay, let me just pull up maps real quick. What is it? It's the, let's see, the Jewish Museum. Jewish Museum in D.C. Capitol Jewish Museum. Where is that? Am I doing this right here? Let's see. Let's see here. Is that the correct location? Let's see. National Capitol Jewish Museum. Okay, where is that? Judiciary Square. Abraham Lincoln statue. Smithsonian. Wow. Capitol Hill. So it's on the other side of the Capitol Hill. Wow. That's scary. I mean, I go there, I walk those streets, man. What's this? 14 minutes ago, Laura Loomer posts, okay, this is such a crazy story. I'm shocked more people aren't talking about it. The DEI company just got the contract to be the air taxi provider for the U.S. Olympics in 2028. Looks like I'm not the only person on to former Biden FAA Administrator Billy Nolan and Archer Aviation. The report came out a day after Archer CEO Adam Goldstein appeared on Jimmy Fallon to highlight their partnership with the Olympics. Turns out it wasn't so organic, and now this is becoming a massive safety issue that could get Americans killed. Archer allegedly paid $30 million to LA28, $30 million to CBS, $3 million to Jimmy Fallon for the privilege of saying they would fly at the Olympics. There's one big issue. A new report published by Culper Research claims Archer air taxis may not fly at all. Archer is another example of a company that prioritizes DEI hires over safety. Culper Research, the group who released the report, was onto Archer, and they claim in the report they have shorted Archer's stock and have issued $1 million wager to Jimmy Fallon that Archer won't even have a flying taxi in time for the Olympics. It's going to be very embarrassing for our country now that Archer got the contract, especially if they don't even have functioning air taxis on time. It'll be devastating if one of those air taxis fall out of the air on the U.S. watch because the Olympics decided to partner with pro-DEI Archer. Talk about a catastrophe. You literally couldn't pay me to fly Archer air taxi. Here are some pages from the report. So what is an air taxi exactly? What is an air taxi? What is that? Air taxi? I don't know. I'll have to look at. I mean, what exactly is that? Okay. See if you can bring up Todd's screen. Are we able to do that? Do I just click on it and say add to scene or something? I don't want to screw up anything. Okay, what is that? Oh, come on. Really? Really? Is that what they're going to be doing? Archer Aviation? United Airlines and Archer announce. I mean, that's pretty cool, but are they really going to have those? And where are they going to be flying? I mean, where is the Olympics this year? I don't even know. 2028? Interesting. Okay, thanks for that visual, Todd. That was easy, right? That was easy. Okay. Wasn't that easy, right? Okay. What is all these? These are creepy pictures, man. All right, we're at $94.45, almost at $100. Tom Bevan, baseless claim. They show a picture of Trump holding up news stories about white farmers who were killed. Trump makes, quote, baseless claim. White farmers are executed as meeting with South Africa's president turns chaotic. Baseless claim. And he's holding up the evidence right there. That's fake news at its worst. Here's more. 2 Israeli embassy staff members just shot outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. Suspect yelled, "Free Palestine," as the cops hauled him away. These people are domestic terrorists. MAGA Voice says, "We have been invaded." Israel war room. Embassy staff killed in a shooting at the Capitol Jewish Museum. News reports confirm that 2 are dead, others injured. Oh, man. Chick-fil-A now has a self-driving delivery drop-off in Atlanta. That's quite a shift from an embassy shooting to Chick-fil-A delivery. Now I want some of those grilled nuggets, man. Those are freaking good. Wow. Would you, Todd, you've seen one of those? Are we able to open up Todd's microphone so people can hear him, Brian? Is that something that's possible? Okay. I don't know. Is that yes or no, Brian? Okay, let's see. We have a super chat. Let's see, that came in here. $3 per character, thank you. Punching the air with a fist bump. Billy Gunner dropping $10. Wake up, everybody, match me. $10, thank you. Deja Vu dropping 20. Thank you. We're at $114.44. You've seen those, Todd? Yes?
Oh, yeah, I've seen those in LA. They look like kind of little minions.
Wow. I don't know. Can people hear him now, Brian? Okay. Let me know next time that you open up the mic so I have confirmation. Okay, so would you guys like that driving up your driveway? I don't know.
Here you go. They look like minions.
Little minions. 2 people, including a staff member from the Israeli embassy, were shot and killed. Oh, my goodness. Shooter was wearing a kippah and yelled, "Free Palestine." It's an act of terrorism. This is why I keep warning people about anarchists and extremists. The fake news of their lies also played a part in this. This is why I hardly mess with anyone in the press. What is this? Okay, Wall Street Apes posted this 15 minutes ago. This post skyrocketed to over 15,000 likes in 8 hours. Elon Musk is staring straight into the soul of South Africa's president. This was during Donald Trump directly confronting Cyril Ramaphosa about the white genocide taking place. Elon Musk staring into the soul. Man. That's where he's from. Pam Bondi reports 11 minutes ago, FBI responded to the shooting. Individuals connected to the Israeli embassy were targeted. The shooting just took place in front of the museum, just behind the FBI field office and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Israel's ambassador to the United States has condemned the attack as a depraved act of anti-Semitic terrorism. Wow. Is that Reince Priebus? I don't know. Jimmy Petronas? Looks like Reince Priebus, but older.
Hold up. Hey, it's Congressman Jimmy Petronas. It is 11:10 p.m. on our way to the Capitol to watch some ridiculous antics by the Democrats as they try to hold up and keep us from passing one big, beautiful bill. President Trump, we're not going to let you down.
And he's there on the underground tunnels in D.C. CNN and other media outlets were calling clips of Biden cheap fakes. The White House was actually the one involved in making cheap fakes. This is why Karine Jean-Pierre's absence from this book is inexcusable. What is this? I don't know. Ian Yeager posting, in light of Joe Biden's cancer, would you support putting up a statue in front of the White House in his honor? Yeah, no way. Okay, so that is the show tonight, and what a night it's been. We've witnessed some seismic shifts in the American landscape, and let me tell you, this is only the beginning. We started with a stunning reversal of fortune as the FBI turns its attention to Letitia James while President Trump's agenda steamrolls forward. The hunter becomes the hunted, and the implications are earth-shattering for our justice system. Then we took you inside that dramatic confrontation between President Trump and South Africa's leadership. When Trump played that stadium footage, it wasn't just about shocking images, it was about forcing the world to confront an uncomfortable truth that's been ignored for far too long. And the big, beautiful bill battle shows us exactly what's at stake for American industry. With billions in investment hanging in the balance and China watching nervously, the next 24 hours could determine America's economic destiny. The corporate titans have spoken, and they're ready to rebuild American manufacturing, but only if Congress delivers. Then we expose the truth about sanctuary city chaos through explosive congressional testimony. From detention center confrontations to judges helping felons escape, the cost of this rebellion against federal law is finally coming to light. But thanks to President Trump's enforcement surge, the tide is turning. And finally, we witness Elon Musk's masterful takedown at the Qatar Economic Forum. When Bloomberg tried to corner him about Doge, she learned the hard way that the days of unchallenged media narratives are over. And to everyone who sent in super chats and Rumble rants tonight, Deja Vu, Billy Gunner, P11B30, Craig, Robert Kennedy, Irving Parmas Dax, Walter, Vicky, Ronald, Craig, Sandra, Lori, all you guys, thank you very much. Your engagement makes the Raw feed what it is, a community of patriots who refuse to back down from the truth. Remember, if you don't want to send in a super chat, you want to do it a little more private, you can support our mission by visiting shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, grab some merch. Your support keeps us independent and fighting on the front lines of truth. And if you believe in what we're doing, just want to give some donations, consider making it through the link in the description. But most importantly, it costs nothing to share this show or any of the YouTube videos we upload with somebody who needs to wake up. Remember to text them the link, email it, post it, whatever it takes, because the mainstream media will not tell these stories, but we will every single night. So for everyone, from everyone on the Next News Network team, I'm Gary Franchi. Thank you for joining us for another explosive edition of the Raw Feed. We'll see you tomorrow night as the battle for America's future continues. Stay strong, Patriots.